Hi, today I'd like to share my ideas with you about the Trecena of Imox. Now, I'm talking with you on this day, 13 Aq'ab'al, which some may see as kind of like a final day of the calendar. All in all, the calendar is a circle, really, so it's not really got a beginning and it's not really got an end. But there are certain ways that we could look at things that could suggest that, 13 Aq'ab'al could be seen as kind of like the 13 representing the spirit world. We can see Aq'ab'al as being the source and kind of like, so it's kind of like the connection with the source, return to the source kind of thing. And then we can see the one Imosh coming in as the new dream. And so it does feel like there's a kind of like one Imosh really feels like very much of a beginning thing for me. I think the thing that also find interesting is that if we were to look on the long count calendar, we would see that each of the days of the sacred calendar is numbered. Those numbers run, from 1 to 20 or 0 to 19, as the case may be. And what we find is that Imosh is numbered 1. So we can see in that way, it could be seen very much as a new beginning. And so we could effectively have like 1 and 1 as the one Imosh. So this is why I consider one Imosh to be very much however we look at it with regards to starting and finishing the calendar, because, obviously many people will be starting their calendar on 1 bats or 8 bats. And there isn't, in many ways, a defined place to start it. In fact, I seem to remember that in Barbara Tedlock's book, Time in the Highland Mire, which, if you haven't read it, is a wonderful thing to have a good look through. She asked her teacher about it, and he said, well, what day is it? And she said, Aq'ab'al. And he said, in that case, it begins on Aq'ab'al. So it begins when it begins. That said, if we're looking to, use the calendar and get our energy into making new things happen or something like that, I think the one Imosh is a great day to do it. And I think that the Trecena of Imosh can be a great time to be getting our new dream into action. It's like if we consider that 13 Aq'ab'al finished something off, the Neil Trecena bringing it to ripeness. Here we sit on this day of kind of like we've ripened, we've reconnected with spirit. It's like, right, okay, that's checked off the list. What are we going to do next? What dream are we going to bring in now? And so, in that way, we can see the Trecena of Imosh being about what dream do you want to bring in? What do you want to fertilize for this next 260-day period? Because Imosh is all about potential, right? And here we have one Imosh, which is like potential and potential. I have this idea about the one being like a seed. It's packed full of potential, but it needs the right conditions in order to grow. Sometimes it needs a little bit of encouragement. It needs the water. It needs the fertilizer. Where does your water and fertilizer come from? It comes from your friends, your families, your colleagues, your teachers, your mentors, whoever it might be. They're the ones that provide the nutrients for the seeds of potential to grow within you. And here we have it connected with the Nawal Imosh, representing the dream, representing the ocean, representing the water. So, we can see here very much a new dream for the water. We can see here very much this potential that we have to bring our new dream into reality. So this is a wonderful thing to be doing with the day one Imosh. Maybe you want to go and seek the counsel of your friends, family, or mentors, or whoever it might be, to ask them how you might fertilize that dream, how you might be able to bring out the potential of it. But if there was a day to start things afresh, a day to start things anew, I really feel like one Imosh would be a great day to begin that process of bringing a new dream into the world on. From one Imosh, we're then going to go into 2 Ich. So Ich representing the wind, representing the breath. Ich representing changes. And here we see the number 2, duality, the in-breath and the out-breath. The number 2, this duality that it has, can be rather black and white in nature. It can be very polar in nature. And ik can be very changeable. It's also about making decisions, or the 2 can also be about making decisions, making choices. And here when we see it connected with ik, representing a communication, representing our words, it's like, right, okay, am I going that way or am I going that way? Am I going to talk about this or am I going to talk about that? The 2 days can also bring things through in a very stark, what we could call black and white kind of way. It could be that maybe you've expressed your dream to somebody. Maybe you've expressed your idea. Maybe they have an opinion on it, or maybe they've got something to tell you. Maybe you've got something to tell them. Now, it might be rather matter of fact, but we might find, kind of like when we see ik, what we see is that the communication can be inspirational, or it can be crushing. And usually, hopefully, there's somewhere in between as well. Well, on 2 ik, maybe there isn't. Maybe it's either you're going to talk about it like this, or you're going to talk about it like that. Maybe there's not a lot of middle ground, not a lot of grey areas between those polarities. So, again, kind of like maybe this is a good thing, because you can get some very clear words on who it is, what it is you want to do. So 2 ik might be the day to receive them, even though you might flinch from a few of them, because it's, like I say, there's not a lot of wiggle room in there. It's either this or it's that. And when it's communicated in such a direct way, if we take the best out of it, then we really understand the message from it. From 2 ik, we're then going into 3 Aq'ab'al. Aq'ab'al representing the dawn and the dusk, the twilight. This is the bridging of that dream into reality. But where are we going to bridge that dream from? Well, the 3 can represent the inner world. And so it's really kind of like going inside ourselves to help ourselves to understand how to bridge that dream into reality. Aq'ab'al, the new concept, the first conception, the first, kind of like the first few cells which are getting together to start this new life, to bring it from a dream into a reality. Aq'ab'al, the one that takes things which have been hidden in the darkness and brings them out into the light. Now, where has it been hidden? Well, the 3 would represent the inner world. It can represent the home. And so maybe this is a dream that you've had for some time. Maybe it's been hiding within you for some time. And then 3 Aq'ab'al gives you the ability, gives you the energy to start to take that concept from within you and express it into the outer world. Now, it might take a few steps to do it at first, because that 3 can, represent a bit of blockage, a bit of obstruction. It's not quite ready to come out yet. It's all brooding within you right now, this new concept, the way that you're going to express this dream into the world. Maybe 3 Aq'ab'al isn't necessarily the right time to bring it out, but it's certainly a good time to go inwards and focus on how you can develop that dream into a concept that you can bring into reality. Now, as we start this new cycle, whether we look at it as the Trecena of Imox, or whether we look at it as a cycle of the calendar, however we choose to look at it, we got to work out what we're going to need in this new cycle and what we might not need. And here comes the day for Cat to bring us exactly that kind of energy. Cat being the carrying net, Cat being the bag which we have our utensils and the useful things that are going to help us on our journey, the materials that we need in order to go through this cycle, the abundance that we need in order to go through this cycle, but also cat can represent our attachments, and maybe it represents our attachments to the past cycle. Because, if we're bringing a new dream in, then, what's behind us is not necessarily always going to help us. And so what we can see with 4-cat is that this is a great day to be going through our material existence and working out what to keep and what to let go of. What we want to travel with into our new cycle and what we want to leave behind in the last one. So I always look at cat days as being, these great days for that kind of sort out. 4-cat is very much on the physical level. It's looking at things and saying, right, okay, this is physically occupying my space. How does it help me to bring my dream into the world? Do I need to carry this any longer? And so whether it was, kind of like going through your house, perhaps going through your wardrobes, having a good sort out and working out exactly what is needed and what's not needed. 4-cat is a great day for, kind of like cleansing on the material level, working out what you want to carry with you and what you can give away. From 4-cat, we then go into 5-can. Can being the power, the wisdom, the number 5 being the work. Now, I like to look at it from the point of view of like, okay, the power and the wisdom will come, but you need to put your energy into it. This is kind of like where it doesn't just sort of fall in your lap. 5 days are days when we have to, kind of like focus our attention on it, put our energy into it. And what are we putting our energy into? We're putting it into power. We're putting it into wisdom. We're putting it into teaching. Those 3 things are very much aspects of Can. We could also see it as overcoming illusion, because that's what the wisdom of Can helps us to do. Helps us to overcome the illusions in our lives. And here it would suggest that, kind of like we might have to put a bit of energy into it. Now, maybe, what started as a dream had a few illusions around it, and we're going to put our energy into it, and maybe we're going to dispel some of our own illusions. And maybe we might have to kind of work with our teachers to help us to work through those kind of illusions. So 5-can would be a good day to be doing any of that kind of work. It's also a day where, with Can, I often think about this idea that the power that we all hold inside of us, I know that power can be seen as a bit of a dirty word, as it were, and yes, we want to use our energy to empower those around us. Yes, we want to empower those around us with the wisdom that we carry. We want to share that wisdom. We want to help others to see through illusions doing it. But there is also something about the mastery of Can coming from the control over our own power. Because the biggest problem is that when Can has power, and that power is out of control, out of alignment, then the person themselves kind of becomes seduced by what we could say is the dark side of Can. It might be manipulated by it. And in that way, they create their own illusions that they can't see through either. So, what do? We train. We use our training to help us to understand how to control our own energies so that we can use it in the way we determine, rather than being a slave to it, rather than being under its control. And so for 5-can, we could also see this being a really good day to put your energy into that kind of training, the kind of training that helps you to master your own bodily energies so that they are under your direction rather than directing you. From 5-can, we then go into 6 Kame. So Kame representing death, representing ancestors, representing transformation. And the number 6 representing the stability and the family. And here, as you present your new dream to your family, maybe there is some fear coming up. You're presenting something you haven't talked about before or something like that. So maybe that's coming in with this 6 Kame energy. But Kame I really see as this soul alchemist that comes along to help us to go up a level, help our souls to evolve. And here we see it with the number 6. So yes, it may be that it comes from working within your family. And here, if we look at it, ancestors and stability together, it'd certainly be a good day to look to your ancestors, to look to your family, to help you to bring stability to your dream. The other side of it can certainly be seen as the 6 being, the kind of like the above and the below, brought into the physical plane of existence, as drawing on the masculine and feminine into the physical plane. And here we see it with the Noel Kame. So Kame, overcoming our fears. So it's about drawing on heaven and earth to overcome our fears in the physical plane. And there's always, I think, a bit of sparkle that comes in with the 6. It's kind of like, yes, we're perfectly able to manifest it on the physical plane, but its origins are up there and down there, and so it's kind of like coming in with something special. It's also a day on which to, kind of like, if we're looking at this as a new evolution, a new dream, then of course we got some trepidation about it. Kind of like, are we going to be able to carry it out? Will we have the resources? What if it goes wrong? All those kind of things. Well, 6 Kame is kind of like our reassurance day in that way, isn't it? It's about kind of like overcoming our fears to bring ultimate stability to our new dream. From 6 Kame, we're then going into 7 Kech. So Kech representing the wilderness, Kech representing the deer or the spiritual leader, our connection to nature. And here we see it on the 7 day. The 7, which can represent the top of the mountain, the top of the pyramid. It's about choices. It's about decisions. It's also about coming to an end of certain things as well. Now, Kech days are always, great days to get out into nature, to go and connect with the wilderness, to connect with the animal kingdom, to connect with the plant kingdom, whatever way, shape you can do it. I would certainly kind of like recommend getting out to the mountains if you can on 7 Kech, because that really feels kind of like that's where the power of the day is. We can also see it being about choices. And, when we're bringing a new dream into reality in this Imox Trecena, we can certainly see that we're going to have some choices to make. 7 Kech would suggest that going out into the wilderness, going out into the forest, to the mountain, is going to help you to understand those choices. Maybe it's going to kind of like give you strength to make the decisions that need to be made. So, 7 Kech will bring all of those things into play. If you can be in the greenness. It will bring you the strength and help you to finalize kind of like the ideas, kind of like bring the way that you're going to bring this dream into reality. Like 7 Kech is about making final choices about how you're going to bring it in with the power of nature. Because of course nature teaches us. That's where we understand our things from being out in the forest. And so it's, helping you to understand your choices about how to bring your dreams into reality. From 7 Kech, we then go into Aq'ab'al. Anil being the yellowing, the brightening, the ripening of the maize. Ganil, the yellowness, one of the fortunate days. And here we see it with the number 8 representing ceremony. So, Aq'ab'al, the wholesale ripening. This is a wonderful day to be making ceremony, to give thanks for your abundance, to give thanks for your own ripening, to give thanks for the food on your table. Aq'ab'al is a great day to be out in your garden. Even if you're not necessarily doing physical gardening, it's a great day to be out there appreciating it, thanking your garden, maybe talking with the spirits of your garden, to thank them for all that they bring to you, the food that comes to your table from there. 8, Anil, is also a wonderful day to, kind of like bring in the wholeness of the projects that you've finished in the last 260 days. Maybe also to set your goal. Where do you want to take this project? Because when you look at it, the 8 can be seen as the 1 and the 7 together. The 7, Anil, representing the end of the project, the 1 Anil representing the new project, and here we are, 8 Anil, bringing them together. And so again, it's bridging together what you used to ripen the last harvest and what you will use to ripen this harvest. So this is also something that you may be wishing to, kind of like draw on through your ceremony, through your fire, through your meditation, is how am I going to ripen this dream, this new dream that's coming in? What can I use from the previous cycle that's going to help me to understand how to ripen it? And how can I give thanks for the ripeness and abundance that supports me? From 8 Anil, we give a chance to give back with 9 Toch. So Toch, the Nawal of the sacred fire, the Nawal of giving, the Nawal of resolution of debt. 9 Toch is about life debts. The number 9 can represent life. It can also represent women. This is a day to give back for those who've given so much to you. Whether it's our mothers, or our aunts, or our sisters, or our partners, or whatever it might be. 9 Toch is a great day to be giving something back for all that we have received. It's a great day to make a payment. It's a great day to make a gesture, to make a ceremony, to give back for all that you've received in life. And once again, I don't think there's any coincidence that 9 Toch, the payment for life, comes straight after 8 Anil, the great ripening. And so it's an opportunity to tithe a bit of that which you receive, to make sure that anything that you've had along the way in the course of your life is being correctly paid for. It's being correctly honoured. From 9 Toch, we're then going into 10 Tz'i. Tz'i, the Nawal of faith and loyalty, the Nawal of justice and law. The number 10, representing community, representing society. 10 Tz'i is a day to be having faith in society. It's a day when our faith might be tested, has to be tested in order to be strengthened, in order to be understood. It's also a day to look at the laws of society and where they might be going wrong, where the injustice or the imbalance might lie. Now, there's a lot of ways that we could look at it, where Tz'i will have a connection to policemen or judges or lawyers and that kind of thing, and that's fine. But I think that Tz'i in itself is much more about societal law, about the laws of humanity rather than the laws of human. And so this is a day to be making sure that we look after those people around us, that the laws of society are upheld. We look after each other. It's a day of showing our faith, our loyalty to our society and those who are in it. To look after those people that might need our guidance, that might need our help. 10 Tz'i is a day to go and shake hands on it, to come to an agreement, to bring justice, to look after one another. From 10 Tz'i, we're then going into 11 Bats. So Bats, the creativity, the creative genius. Bats, the one who's going to create this masterpiece. And here we see it with the number 11. And so the number 11 can, be looking in a lot of different places. And when we see this with bats, we can got a real, well, I'd say a firecracker of a day, in that so much creativity, but where do we put it? Because we want to put it there, and then we get another idea, we've got to go there, and then over there, then over there, then over there. And so I think that with 11 bats, it could be a highly creative day. Might not be a very focused day, but 11 days really, maybe they're not about focus. Maybe they're about allowing yourself to defocus. I always think of the 11 days as kind of like having this meandering energy. They go where they feel drawn. And maybe your greatest creativity on 11 bats will come not through having a planned destination, but going where you feel drawn. From 11 bats, we're then going into 12 the path, the road, the journey. And the number 12 representing the bundling up, the summing up of life experience. And so here we see that the life journey's coming to a conclusion. The number 12 can really be seen, like, I often think of it as like writing your autobiography. Why? Because you're taking everything that you've learned and you're putting it into one place. You're noting it all down. You're bundling it all up. And here with 12 we can see that being very much about experience, about journeys. Now, it may well be on 12 days are usually good days to travel. And so maybe 12 is a day on which you might need to call on your previous life experience in order to facilitate your journey. Maybe it's a day to share with others the journeys and your life experience of the journeys that you've made. So it's a very powerful day, is 12 It should be a rather determined day for moving around, for travelling. 12 bringing together all of those paths that you've walked in the past, all of the information, the experiences from them, bring them together into one place to help you with your current path, perhaps to help you move forward with this new dream. And then finally, we move into the day of 13 Aq'. So Aq' representing the spinal column, Aq' representing the house, the home, Aq' representing the father figure within the home, representing harmony, representing balance in society, harmony in our community. And here we have it connected with the number 13, representing the connection to the spirit, representing the connection to the ancestors. So 13 Aq' is a great day to be making that kind of connection. It's a great day to ask for the support from spirit, from the ancestors on your new dream. It's a great day to be maybe weighing up your new dream against the advice of the ancestors, as it were. Does this fit in with what the ancestors have been communicating with us? Or is it out of whack? How can I use the counsel of the ancestors to ensure that the new dream that I'm bringing in coherence, is something which is going to help to bring harmony to my family, to my society, to my community? 13 Aq' is certainly a day on which you might look for guidance from your ancestors through whatever shape that might take. And 13 Aq' should certainly be a good day to draw on that spirit in order to stand up for what is right and bring harmony to your community and to your home. So, thanks once again for listening to me, and I look forward to seeing you in 13 days' time for the Trecena of Imox. Thank you.